Wholeness, 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 YouTube. It's First Sage signing back in, and happy now. All is now. Happy Wednesday. Okay. We're influenced by the fluid of Mercury. Okay, we already know what Mercury deal with in the astrological natal chart. Okay, Mercury deals with communications, and if I'm not mistaken, we currently have Moon in Gemini, so the natal transit being in Gemini, so that's gonna sort of like have we have more influence of the communication realm, you could say. Okay, so I want to take this time to just shed my light on the information I've come across with dealing with astrology and the asteroids, because on the astrological chart, okay, so there's not much, there's not a lot of accurate elaborations on the asteroids, but it's like I like to make things a lot simple, and the information I've come across. So I'm just gonna shed that on the asteroids, you know. So, for example, we have on your planetary alignments, you have Sun through Saturn. Okay, that's the primary planets, at least. You have Sun through Saturn as the primary planets. So I've got my notes here. So if you could give me a minute. So, right. So once you have your Sun through Saturn, those are the first 7 planets. Those are the primary planets. And then after that, you have planets, such as Uranus, the far out planets, Neptune. You have Ceres, you have Pallas. So for example, right? So when we're looking at Ceres, if you ever see a Ceres in your chart, okay? So Ceres is the energy that makes you feel responsible. This is the energy that the element that makes you feel responsible. Okay? So the element that your Ceres is in, this is the element that makes you feel responsible, that you should be, taken care of, type shit. So for example, my Ceres is in a water sign, so I feel responsible for, emotional type things, And then if you see Pallas, Pallas has the energy that you want to relate to. This is the element that you want to relate to. Not just like physical or not talking about relationships, but just the elements in general that you want to relate to. Because when I say relate to, you might sort of feel as though I'm talking about like a compatibility, but that's not necessarily it. It could be that, but this is just like, you know, the act that you want to relate to. So for example, I've got my palace, you know, in an air sign, and the energies that I want to relate to is communication, you know. So communication is huge for me, you know. um yeah. And yeah, so that's just little information that I've come across, and that has proved to be, you know, accurate, and I feel the need to share it, you know. So yeah, let me catch you next now. First Sage signing out.